All right, Halos, welcome back. So we're gonna be doing the finals recap of the LCS Championship in Summer Split 2023. Joined once again by Drubert. What's up, Drew?
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
All right. So this is the first match. We're gonna just dive right in. Well, actually, do you want to give like pre-thoughts of how you expected this series to go?
Yeah, I think we said last video that I think we both thought that NRG had a decent chance to beat TL, which they did obviously since they're here.
Yep, yep.
But I think we both thought Cloud9 would win this pretty easily. Because
Yeah,
they haven't looked unbeatable this year, but
for sure.
they have looked pretty strong. So, I think that was our initial thoughts going in.
Yep.
But I don't know. NRG's, also every time I doubt them, they say, you know, they change my mind. So
Yeah, exactly. That's the that 3-0 that Cloud9 gave to them earlier in the playoffs here was kind of deceiving, and I was trying to figure out exactly what happened there. Of course, all three of those games were pretty close, and NRG had some leads in them as well. But I
yeah,
was kind of surprised because in the past, of course, previously CLG, which is now the NRG lineup, even though they added FBI and Ignar. Um, they had always taken Cloud9 to like 5 games, and Cloud9 ended up winning like the whole championship from those series usually. Um,
that's true. They always played them pretty close, actually,
yeah,
even in the CLG days. Yeah.
yeah, and then so that's what threw me when they CLG or C9 actually 3-0'd them earlier in the playoffs. I was like, wait, what? Because this is like in my mind, FBI Ignar is a clear upgrade from I think it was Luger Poom, something
Oh,
like
for
that.
sure. I'm a big Ignar fan, especially
Yeah,
in engage meta for supports. I feel like Ignar is
right.
pretty good.
It's a good meta for him for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's dive straight in. I think what we said it was either going to be like a 3-1 or 3-2 for C9 winning versus Energy, I believe.
If I remember right, yeah, I think 3-1 sounds pretty right to me.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, so that's what we were guessing. Anyways, also by the way, if you have not seen the series yet, go ahead and watch the series because we are going to be having spoilers in this. I probably should have said that
Yeah.
earlier, but yeah.
Unless you just don't care, then watch anyway.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, that works too. If you don't have the time, no worries. We got you. That's what we're doing. All
exactly.
right. So first game we got this is the draft. So they ban Zaya and they get the response is LeBlanc and then we go Azir and then Tristana and then um, Poppy and Maokai. So it looks like they're still scared of the Blabber Maokai, the undefeated,
Yep.
just barely
Yep.
undefeated. Uh, and let's see.
It's interesting that
Yeah, go ahead.
they didn't ban. So normally you ban the Zaya on the blue side, and then you like are forcing red side to ban Kaisa,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
because those are kind of like the two main picks, but NRG I guess was like, you know what? We don't really care. We're gonna let you have Kaisa. So they did not ban it. So
Kinda
Berserker,
crazy.
it's like
Personally, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
gets that. I was gonna say it's just weird that they just let Berserker have it because I feel like
Yeah.
that's the one guy you don't want to give
No, no, no. 100%.
a good champion to on Cloud9.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. In my opinion, Kaisa is the better of the two with Zaya, although sometimes Zaya can be decent if the Kaisa's like full running into the Zaya. But like
Yeah, true.
usually that's not gonna happen. Plus she has the dodge with the ultimate on Kaisa does. So you can also just dodge out the ultimate from Zaya if she's trying to set up everything. So I mean, obviously Kaisa getting through is pretty big for C9. The Zeri, what do you think about Zeri right now? I personally think that she is not very good, to be honest.
I I don't think she's super. I think she can be good if
Yeah,
she gets like ahead or gets like super late game still, but
yeah, yeah.
I don't think she's very strong in general anymore. And like in my opinion, in my my gold ranked expert opinion here.
Right,
But when
same.
I see these two bot lanes, I feel like Cloud9's bot lane should like stomp them because I I like Nautilus a lot into Rakan and Zeri. Like
Okay,
I would
okay.
like if I see both those champions, I would like gladly pick Nautilus into them and feel really, really good
That's
about
true.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Um,
Nautilus ult, big.
yeah, Nautilus on Zeri is like great because she can't get away. And then Rakan, when he like jumps in, you just bop him with an auto attack and he can't
Escape
you
or
know,
whatever.
he can't do his Rakan stuff from there. Like he can't
True.
jump
Yeah.
right back out. So I don't know. I just looking at the bot lane matchup, I feel like Cloud9 definitely got the better end this time. But I agree. I don't think Zeri's. I think she can be good, but I don't think she's like overpowered anymore like she used to be.
Yeah, 100%. I think she's gotten way too many nerfs over time, and I think she's at the weakest point she's ever been. And I
Yeah.
think it's pretty bad. But they do end up going it, so we will do a little quick recap of the end of the game and figure out what exactly happened and if it worked. Um, but either way, you see all the bans. You guys can look at that if you want. But let's just go top to bottom, I guess. We already did the bottom lane. I think I completely agree. I think Nautilus is quite good into their bot lane. Personally, I don't think Rakan's very strong right now. I think he's deceptively okay. Um, but I think the reason why people are doing it is because he's kind of like Enchanter plus Engage. I think that I'm guessing that's why they're doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah. I could
But
see that.
I don't know to be honest. So I think the Cloud9 wins that bot lane pretty easy. But yeah, Fudge gets his Renekton. All the memes, there they are.
Yep. Yep.
uh, I know people meme about Renekton a lot, but he after I think it was 1 or 2 years ago, I think when Summit was on uh, C9 at the
Cloud9.
top lane. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I think that was when Renekton actually wasn't very good, to be honest. Um, but ever since then, he's got like at least three really large patch buffs um, over the course of that time period. So this champion is not bad anymore, really, not at all. Um,
No, he's not bad. He doesn't he's not like as strong
mhm.
as he's definitely still like an earlier game
Yeah, for
like
sure. He's not
menace,
late game.
but the meme used to be like he was just like useless late game, and I feel like he isn't like totally useless late game anymore, like
Yeah,
he used to be, which
100%.
which I think was like the point of a lot of those buffs,
Yeah.
because he used to just turn into like a melee minion if the game went too late.
Yeah, it's just a stun bot pretty much.
Yep, yep, yep.
He's not a tank, so he doesn't really absorb too much, but he's okay. But he's a lot better now, so he can tank quite a bit more now. What are your thoughts on Rumble, by the way?
I think Rumble is pretty strong just from I've seen a lot of professional teams pick him up.
Hmm.
So I think he's in a pretty good spot right now.
Okay.
Um, but I've only ever seen it work really nicely if which I guess we'll get to the mid lane here in a bit, but it kind of like forces your mid to go AD if
Yep.
you're gonna put Rumble in the top. But so not every team can like pull that off, but the teams that can, it feels like Rumble is in a pretty good spot right now. I'm not sure why, because I don't think did he get like a lot of buffs? I don't think he did. Maybe he just like
Yeah.
stacks up well into
So he
to
didn't
what's popular.
get a lot of buffs. Actually, let me just pull it up real fast.
It was like a
What I'm
couple patches ago, right?
Yeah, he got. I think it was to his ultimate and also his E, because his E now
Oh
slows
yeah.
more and it also stacks the penetration that it gives.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do remember that. That was a couple patches back. Yeah.
yep, yep. Is it Lolpedia or something? I don't know what it's called.
Something. Yeah, yeah.
Leaguepedia, that's the one. Yeah, close enough.
Leaguepedia, yeah. And then you can find Rumble.
Rumble, and it should give me
Yeah.
the patch thing. But I just wanted to say I don't actually think he's incredibly. Where's the patch? This is not the right side, I don't think. That I'm thinking. Oh, here we go.
Patch history. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we got for this season at least, he got his passive in 11 point. Wait, no, that's not this season, is it? Wait, no, hold on. What? 11? That's way old. No, this is the wrong one. One sec. Hold on. Not League Esports Wiki. How about just the normal wiki? You know what? It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyways,
Yeah.
um,
He's being played. I
yeah.
just I feel like I don't know why he came back into the meta. That's what I was thinking. I think
Yeah, I'm not sure either, to be honest. Personally, I don't think he's that good. I think he's decent, but like I think there's quite a few champions that are still a lot better. For instance, like the things that are banned here, like Sante is
yeah,
better, Jax is better.
Jax.
I think
Yep.
Poppy's okay. But I mean, there's a
Hmm.
lot of pretty decent champs in top lane that are good. So, people are picking it quite a bit. I don't think it's that good, but that's just my take on it. But either way, Dokla does pick it. So we got Blabber on Sejuani and contracts on Rel. I think Sejuani's decent. I don't think she's the best, but I think she's okay right now. And I think Rel's
I
still
like
very
it
strong.
with I like Sejuani with Renekton though,
Yeah, yeah.
because he can stack like the shatter passive really quickly. So
Yep, yep.
it's
The
like a
synergy.
nice little combo. I don't. How do you feel about Rel jungle?
I think it's really good, personally. It's not good at killing people very well, and it's not good at taking down objectives really fast, but it's extremely good in a team environment, the way you're all coordinated and everything. Uh, I think I like it. It's good.
Yeah. I that's exactly what I think too. It's like it's very team dependent, but
Yes.
obviously at the professional level, it can be really good because it's all about teamwork at that point.
Yep.
In general, you're going to operate as a
A
five-man
unit, yeah.
squad.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be
and
like the
solo
best
queue
cohesion.
is a little more risky because
Yeah.
it's not one that you're going to run the game by yourself typically. But
No, no, no. Definitely not. But yeah, I mean, pretty standard matchup. These two are picked a lot in the jungle.
yeah,
I don't think either one's particularly good in either the other. I feel like Sejuani might be a little bit better because she has a little bit more damage and tankiness, but like it depends. Either way, that's fine. Pretty even. So we got Jace, M&S Jace, by the way, into
yep.
Palafox on the Lucian. Thoughts?
Jace is pretty standard.
Yeah,
You see him a lot with Kaisa too because you can get both of them
poke.
as yeah a really annoying poke. So no surprises there.
Hmm.
The Lucian is kind of interesting. We don't really see
Yeah.
Lucian mid almost ever. So it's kind of
So
interesting.
what I oh go ahead, sorry.
Oh go yeah, I was gonna say I think it almost like how would I describe? I think it's almost like a worse version of Jason away, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. I think
Yeah.
like he kind of can do the same thing. Like he can be kind of like an AD mid lane poke champion with the calling,
Yep.
but that's like I feel like that's not as reliable as Jace poke. So
Yeah.
I'm
He's
not.
squishier and he's not as much
Yes.
range. You're put in a lot more
Yeah.
danger.
So it's like interesting. I mean, it's definitely something that I think. Well, like when I think of Palafox, I think of like he definitely is someone like I feel like him and Insanity bring out some interesting picks, which is
Yeah.
it can work to their advantage if the
Yeah.
other people don't really know the matchup. But um, I don't know. I don't know about Lucian mid right now. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I'd have to say I don't think Lucian's very good right now, at least in mid. Personally, I think overall he's actually pretty not great, but Palafox definitely made it work in some situations. His ultimates were doing a lot of damage this game. I
Yeah,
remember particularly.
yeah,
It's like just demolishing Sejuani, and Sejuani's like the tankiest, one of the
yeah.
tankiest
Well,
champs.
yeah.
So,
That's what I mean. Like if you're really good at it, you can make it work.
yeah,
But
I don't
it'd
remember
be
what he
like
built, but we'll see.
I'd be surprised if like yeah, you saw a lot of people going Lucian mid. I feel like it's more of like a pocket pick at this point. I don't think it's like a great
Also,
all around.
I believe the casters or the analysts mentioned that Lucian mid is actually a counter pick into Jace apparently. That Insanity brought out at some point. I didn't know this, but they let us know, and I was like, oh okay. So I mean, that's at least the reason why he picked it, most likely.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It was
Like I said,
apparently a
both
counter pick.
those two people, Insanity and Palafox, both. I mean, they're not like identical, but I feel like those are the two mids in the league who are willing to play some of the more
Non-standard.
like off, yeah, non-standard stuff, and then like find a way to make it work. So that
Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me. That might have been where he got the idea from.
absolutely. Um, Only other thing I want to mention is the Ari ban against NRG's Palette Fox, which is kind of interesting. Um, just something to note. I don't think personally. I don't think Ari's that good right now. I think she's fine, but like I don't. I think there's better picks, pretty clearly.
I think she's really good if but the teams that I've seen in like LPL or LCK that make it work, they don't make her the focus.
Hmm.
She's like setting up like a carry jungler.
Yeah,
So like you
definitely.
see her a lot with like Viego or someone who like she's basically just there to hit the charm and like an Everfrost and then let the
Yeah,
jungler kind of
that's
run away
fair.
with it. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
That makes sense.
don't I don't think it would work well with Rel, is I guess what I'm saying. Like it would be
True,
kind of awkward. Ari
true.
Rel.
So maybe a misban there. We'll see. Uh, they banned both parts too. If you're talking about like carry junglers, Nocturne as well. They banned Nocturne and Ahri, so
Yep.
interesting. Either way, also the Jax ban for Fudge is quite interesting to note for later on in the series. We'll say that.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know how well your memory is of when you watched the series, but yeah,
I
uh,
watched it. I watched it.
last night.
I didn't see it live. I saw like slightly delayed.
Okay, okay,
Like I was watching game one when they were in like I think game two. So I was like
okay.
one game behind the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
If
that's
that,
fine.
yeah, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, we finished the draft here. Let's go on to the post game. Um, so C9 end up winning this game. This is the closest I could get because if I go any farther, it's like end of game. So, anyways,
Yeah. Just
uh,
trust. The Nexus is going to
it
fall.
will fall.
I
There's no
promise.
comeback. Look at that
Yeah.
huge minion wave in the top lane. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so this is what they all built. You can see their builds here. Just ignore the YouTube bar. It's fine. Um, 19 to 10 score. Got like a 13k gold lead. You can barely see there. Uh,
Yeah. Uh,
two drakes to three. Energy actually had more drakes here and zero turrets. Actually, didn't notice that. That's interesting. So
C9 kind of stomped this one.
little stompy. Yep. 0-5 on the rel.
Berserker and yeah, look at Berserker in particular, 6-0 and 6.
Yes, sir.
Kaisa's just so good. I think she's like
Yeah.
maybe she might be the strongest, at least at the professional level. She might be the strongest. She's definitely like
Yeah.
probably top five, but she might be the strongest pick for
Yeah.
pros right now.
I believe she's the best ADC in the game right now. Um, Easily. And then Zaya's pretty much number two. I
Yeah,
would say maybe Ash. It kind of depends from there, but like those are clearly
yeah,
the top two. Um,
for
but yeah,
sure. Everything else is kind of more situational, but yeah, if you, Kaisa, yeah,
exactly.
you can see, especially if you have Berserker, who's like your number one carry threat, and you get
Pretty
him on that
much.
pick. It's really tough if you're NRG here, I think.
Absolutely. I don't. So personally, I don't actually like the Luden's poke um, build. I understand it and I can see how it works, but overall DPS you're gonna get more from going like Kraken and standard like Kraken Navori type of thing.
You know why I think it works in this one? I think it's like if look at NRG's team, they have no tanks. I mean Rel, right? Kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I
And they've
think
got the Jace for
without
poke as well. It's combined.
yeah, it's just so like how can you play like those Kaisa poke is just like you land it on anyone that's not Rel and they're basically out of the
Half
fight.
health yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I think the Kraken build is like if they have any sort of front line, but
Yes, that's true.
Energy kind of did not
That is
did
true.
not draft a which is why I think Kai'Sa's so good because you can like adapt based on what like you can go either build and it's like viable. So
Yeah,
um
100%.
yeah.
Another thing I want to notice is Navori quick blades Zeri, by the way.
Yeah, interesting.
I saw him do this a few different times. I'm not sure if it's the best, but I guess it kind of works. Like, I don't know how the interaction works with Q because Zeri's Q, her auto attack is a spell, and
Yeah.
her button press is the auto attack. So it's like it's kind of wonky, and I know her actual auto attack from the Q. Um, it only scales with attack speed, I believe, to a certain point, and then it stops, kind of like a Yasuo Q, um, a little bit. And so it's kind of weird, but maybe if it gives cooldown back, like seconds back on the Q, then that would make a lot more sense because she can just spam it out a little bit quicker. But I don't know if that's how it works. So I'd have to do some testing on that one. But what do you think of that, Vori Zeri?
I've not seen it before, but
Me neither.
yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I don't, I also don't know exactly how that interaction works, but
Yeah.
it it didn't work this game. Did not work.
Yeah.
Did not work this game. The Rumble though, hey, as much as we said the Rumble might not be good, the Rumble
I mean,
was
it's a
maybe the
decent scoreline.
yeah, he had the best score line across the NRG team this one.
Yeah,
Ruka.
for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. C9 ends up taking the first game. Uh, pretty much a stomp, but there was definitely like glimpses of hope for NRG in this one for sure. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so yeah, it's the 1-0 for C9. Getting into the next game, we got our second draft up here. Uh, when does Sentinels play? I don't know what that is. Oh, he came to watch Valorant. It's a
Yeah,
great, some
that's
great signs.
Valorant. Sentinels is a Valorant team.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. We
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
our resident Valorant fan over here.
Yes.
Nice, nice. All right, so C9 gets red side here. Looks like Energy chose blue. Um, we got. You guys can just go over the bands if you want. We can just like do a quick thing. Similar
Yeah.
thing though. Um, depending on the
See,
sides.
this is another this is kind of more like what you with at least with 80 carries, like NRG didn't ban Zaya.
Yep,
So
yep.
then C9 doesn't ban Kaisa and they kind of do that trade,
Handshake.
like
Yep,
that
yep.
handshake. Which didn't happen in game one, but game two, they do the handshake with energy on blue. But this time FBI gets the Kaisa, but
Yep.
yeah, so we'll have to see how he does with it.
100%. So we got. Let's go top to bottom, I guess. We got
Yeah, yeah.
Jax versus Renekton. Um, probably a better situation, but it's kind of skill matchup depending on like if you can react and W before the counter strike from Jax.
Yeah.
Um, but it's kind of a skill matchup. It's pretty decent. I think obviously Jax outscales him, but I feel like Renekton probably dominates a little bit early.
I think that's right. I think like a late game, it's hard to match. Like I think it would be hard for actually anybody on C9 to match Doka in a side lane if it goes late game. So
Yeah, definitely.
that's it's kind of you're kind of trading maybe early game pressure for late game like insurance if you pick the Jax. But I feel like it's definitely a better. I like Jax better than Rumble personally.
Yeah, same, same. Uh, so yeah, it ends up Dokla taking the Jax, and he doesn't ban it this time as well. So interesting as well. Anyways, we got contracts gets his Ivern finally, and Blabber's got
He's
the
like,
Rel.
is he the only guy playing Ivern in LCS?
Blabber's done
Right.
it a couple times, but he doesn't usually like prefer it, even if it's
Yeah,
unbanned.
contracts actually seems like he's like I want to play this guy. Give it
Yeah,
to me.
I think they both play it in situations. Usually, it's
Hmm.
like I think Contracts plays it more, but I think Blabber actually gets it banned against him quite a few times as well. I've seen quite a few bans going towards that as well, so kind of depends, I guess. But uh, yeah, I think Ivor's okay. I don't think he's incredibly strong, but it works if you have ADC, obviously, that you can buff because you're kind of an enchanter,
Yep. Yep.
and
Yep.
then
Yep.
it works on auto. These are both auto attack based as well. The Jace,
Yeah,
the
you got a lot of options of people to buff.
yep, 100%. A lot of DPS on Energy's side. But yeah, the Rel goes to Blabber this time, so they both like this champion, obviously. I noticed, I think it was in this game, or maybe it was the next game, Rel was doing quite a lot of damage with his Q. It kind of looked like it did like 400 or 900 damage to some monster camps at one point, and I was like, what the?
I think it was this game. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of crazy, but I mean, it's just monsters, so it's not a big deal or anything. But Champ's good. I don't know. Has a lot of tools. He's like the speed buff as well that they added recently.
Hmm.
It's just a really good champion overall. I like it. Do you prefer one side of this matchup or kind of weird?
Um, think I think Rel is just better overall, but Ivern, like you
Yeah,
said, Ivern can be good in situations. I do really like Ivern with Jax because you put that shield on the Jax and then he like
yeah.
jumps in.
Got the
So like
slow as
that
well.
that combo is yeah, and then the slow that combo is like really good. So
Yeah,
um I think it's just in general I'd rather have a rel, but maybe in this game I kind of think Ivern might do
yeah,
more for the team. It might be than the rel can do for C9.
yeah. I feel like Rel could get bursted down pretty quick in this game as well with all the DPS that they have. It's like
Yeah.
so much chunk even at just the beginning. But yeah, got Palafox on the Jace and Iminesk takes the Annie. Classic. Um, I don't know. I think Annie's fallen in prio a little bit recently. I don't think she's as good as she was. She definitely has like chances and stuff, but she obviously doesn't have that DPS. She has to wait for her cooldowns quite a bit more. And Jace can just like continue to auto attack because he's a AD based champion. Um, but they get the Jace
Yeah.
Kaisa on energy set, so that's the combo again.
Yep, that combo is pretty oppressive. So
Yeah.
it's good that we saw actually them pick it up. Uh, they get it this time on blue, whereas
Yep.
C9 got it on blue last time. Annie can be good, but she like I feel like she needs to like the really good Annie players. I feel like that I've seen at the pro level are great about like finding flanks,
Yep.
like coming from like out of vision and like being like very unexpected angles, and then they show up
Absolutely. Yep.
and I don't know. Evanes could be that guy, but I don't know. Like I don't know if I trust him 100% to be that guy on the Annie.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Like I feel like there's like he definitely could pull it off, but it's a little risky to have him like off on his own, I guess, and looking for those flanks because he does sometimes have a tendency to get like caught out. So I
Yeah.
don't know if it like I don't know if it like matches his play, his like preferred play style, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Also, like we said earlier, the energy has a lot of DPS here and like just pretty much damage in every role, pretty much. But C9 has pretty much Berserkers, like the only real
Hmm.
consistent DPS that they have. Fudge
For
does a
sure,
little
yeah.
bit, but he's mostly tanky, and Eminus has to wait for cooldowns, but he does a little bit as well. So I think I'd say he's
Yeah.
more, and he's more a little bit supportive in that sense than just high DPS, really.
Yeah, the tricky thing is like I feel like for C9, yeah, it is a lot. It's kind of all on Berserker, like you said, and they need
At least two.
they need at least two. Like in this one, the only way Berserker can carry is if NRG is like running into them, and then Berserker can kind of fight from the back and like find those multi-man stuns with
Yeah,
his you know what I mean? But I
but
feel
if I,
like the issue is
yeah, go ahead.
NRG doesn't have to run into them. They can just
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
can just poke them. That's why I'm like when you look at the two teams, like I see what C9's comp wants to do.
Hmm.
They want to kind of like ball up and then force people to kind of fight in a ball and like come into them. But
Yeah, pretty much.
NRG they could, but they don't have to. So I feel like that's
Yeah.
the mismatch here.
And I think it's fine, but the only thing is that just for instance, just for the sake of argument, say that FBI, Dokla, and Palafox can jump onto Berserker.
Yeah,
He cannot stop alt SCC plus the damage. There's no way possible. Even if he ults, they can still follow him because
yeah.
you only get so much movement speed within your ult. So it's like I don't understand how this C9 draft can work personally. um, but yeah, I don't know. Obviously we got FBI gets the Kaisa and Ignar gets a signature Alistar as well, and then Berserker
Yeah,
gets the
yeah.
Zaya and Zvin's on Rakan. So they got the Zaya Rakan, but like I said earlier, I don't think Rakan's actually so great.
No, I mean, he is. It's nice to get that combo. Like the
Yeah,
Zyricon, it's always going to make him look better
for sure.
than he might be on his own. But yeah,
But like Nautilus is unbanned. What other supports are in the meta right now? Nautilus is unbanned. We got trying to think who else is strong besides
stuff
Nautilus,
that
Alistar,
Sven
Braum
might want to
maybe.
play.
Braum for engage,
Braum could be good.
counter engage. I mean,
Yeah,
um,
Braum wouldn't be bad. Nautilus wouldn't be bad either. I don't know. I feel like they really wanted to force that Zyricon
yeah,
combo.
and I think I
Um,
see that a lot. They kind of just pick it
yeah,
because they're like, oh, this is a good combo, right? I don't
yeah,
know. It's okay.
yeah. But I think maybe there were potentially better. Brahm's an interesting one. I wonder if Brahm could have helped a little bit with the like soaking some of the poke before
Yeah,
fights, like objective fights. You could just put him up front with the wall and kind of
yeah, it's good against poke
buy
too. Yeah, good point.
yeah, buy just like buy some time for theoretically for like we said, MNS to find that flank.
Maybe they're
Um,
not confident with Sven and Braum is the only thing,
maybe,
but I
yeah.
don't know to be honest. But
He's
yeah,
he's
it's
like
good
a
against
weird
Jax.
he's a weird he's like a weird champion to pick up. Like his
Yeah,
his kit's not complicated, but the play style is kind of weird because he's like a tank, but he's not really engaged. He's more just like counter engage, like counter engaged. So he's definitely got kind of his own unique play style. I feel like Braum does.
it's Tom Kinch with less knockups, but better.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Just slap that underneath Braum. That's the champion description right there.
Yep, yep. All right. Well, anyways, that's pretty much wraps up this here. Any notable bands that you pops out to you, or not particularly?
Weird. It's weird that which we'll see as the series goes on, but the Zeri ban is
Oh yeah,
interesting to
that
me
is interesting.
because like we were saying, I don't really get the prio
It must be FBI
on
just thinks
Zeri
it's
right
really
now.
good.
Yeah, but then they ban it against you know what I mean? Like they ban it when they have the Kaisen and they still ban the Zeri from Berserker. So that tells me like I don't know, maybe scrims like both these teams must think that Zeri is good, but I
Yeah,
don't necessarily see it. So that was just interesting that it got banned this game.
yeah. Good point. Good point. Um, we got the M&S Ari is banned out. It looks like, and then obviously Palafox's Azir. No explanation needed there. But we got C9 actually banning the Sejuani into NIG. I know Context does play it quite a bit too, so
Yeah.
pretty high contested with that one. But C9 bans the Rumble, so they played Rumble first
It
game,
did
right? So
yeah. They well Dokla played Rumble first game.
yeah,
So
exactly. So I guess
yeah.
Fudge did not like the Rumble into the or playing the Renekton into the Rumble. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting that he would prefer because you figure you ban the Rumble, but the Jax is up, right? So it's interesting that I would
Yeah,
think
I'd rather
Jax
have
is
Jax
way
banned.
more annoying, but
Maybe it was a
who
team
knows?
decision. Maybe the Rumble
Yeah.
was suppressive. I'm not sure. It's
Yeah.
hard to say without knowing the comms and all the intricacies, but
True, 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 true.
that's the first or the second match's draft. Let's go ahead and get into the post game, kind of. Right here at the end, it looks like NRG does take this second game. So we got NRG bouncing back. They got a almost 13,000 gold lead once again. Both of these games a little bit of stompy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, the
So
Jags,
Kaisa Chase diff. You get those two
yeah,
champions and then you just win 10,000 plus gold every time.
pretty
That's the
much
formula.
exactly. Got the Imperial Mandate on the Iron.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Palafox popped off on the Jace.
yep,
That
yep,
was
100%.
that
It
was
was
the one thing that stood out to me. I was like, okay, you probably can't give this guy Jace anymore.
I think you got like a triple kill on the back end of a team fight, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
It's kind of disgusting, but
Like M&S Jace was like good, but Palafox Jace
it's
was a
different. Yeah,
whole different champion. So which is like kind of concerning because now you almost feel like that's like another ban. I guess C9 has to consider working into their strategy now
yep,
after this one.
pretty much. Um, the Jax does end up working pretty well against the Renekton. This game, not like incredibly, but it did pretty decently. And then, yeah, I mean, it's not much to explain here. I don't think it's NRG takes it pretty handedly. It was a
Yeah.
somewhat close game at some points, but I think draft was a somewhat of a problem for C9. I don't like blaming draft, but I do. So
Yeah. Well, actually, I would say the first two games of the series were pretty heavily, like I said, the draft kind of set both C9 and NRG in game one and two up
yep,
for
definitely.
these stomps.
And it looks like everyone's prioritizing having blue side if they have the chance. Like I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
every time I saw it, they were like, "Oh yeah, this team chose blue side." So I was like, "Okay, blue
Yeah,
side's
because I
still the
think the blue
best."
side, yeah, blue side either gets you Kai'Sa or forces the other team to ban Kai'Sa.
Yep,
So that's
100%.
it's a pretty big advantage right now.
Absolutely. So, any final thoughts on this one, or just should we go ahead and move on?
No, I was like at this point, I was like, huh. I'm like, I was quite perplexed because the first game Cloud9 stomps, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's like I
What we
kind of
expect?
expected this to go. And in this game, NRG kind of flipped the script here and they stomped, and I was like, well, what like I didn't I thought because I thought NRG would win at least a game, but I thought it'd be like scrappy. And the fact that they were able to just like run away with one, I
Yeah,
definitely felt like we were in for
a
a
series.
series at this point.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was pretty worried at this point. I was like, all the analysts was like, "Oh yeah, if they 3-0, then this will be like, Blabber's gonna get his like
Yeah.
out in 300 games, his like the highest win rate of any LCS
Yep.
player or something." And then it would also be like the three-peat for C9 and everything. So it's a pretty
They
big
were caster
series.
cursing
Yeah.
like nobody's business.
Oh yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously, big storylines for Energy too if they can end up closing this one out as well. So um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty big. But yeah, it was a definitely a kind of a wake up call this second game, and I was like, okay, C9 needs to make sure that they're not playing around this third game and need to step it up. They need
Don't
to,
let them get Kai'Sa. That's what they need to make sure. Because that was my takeaway from game one and two. Don't let don't let the other guy get Kai'Sa. That
yeah.
was the takeaway.
I mean, it
And
seems like
Jace
no
to a certain
brainer,
extent,
right?
but
But
yeah.
like, I don't know. Some people just aren't prioritizing it quite as much. But yeah,
Well, we'll see if that trend
see
continues.
what happens in the third game. Let's get to the draft here. Uh, oh no, there's a Kai'Sa.
Yeah. This one, honestly, this was a head scratcher for me because
Yeah, for me too.
you should never. There should be no way that red side gets Kai'Sa like ever.
Well,
Like it
not just
shouldn't be an
that for
option.
me. I just think C9's draft was kind of crazy here. Like, this is the game where they should be like, okay, we need to take this game so we can have no pressure the
Hmm.
games following. And
Yeah, you want to break the tie, right? So that you can
yeah,
get back
exactly.
into the lead.
And
Yeah.
either this game or their next game, if they were to lose this game, um, they need to like start showing all their cards because otherwise they're out, right? The game after that. So
Yeah.
they need to make sure they are not playing around anymore. They need to stop testing things. They need to
Yeah.
stop trying things that aren't like more guaranteed. You know how they say like, don't take the 50-50 play, let's take the 80-20 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, the 100% or whatever. So but yeah, do you want to? You have anything standing out for the bands here, or I mean, it's pretty standard. I think everything is.
Weirdest thing is that they banned Zaya. C9 banned Zaya.
And don't take
Um,
Zeri. Yeah, that's true. What
and
happened
then
at the
they and
beginning?
then it's weird.
I don't remember what they first picked. Was it the
I
Zeri?
think it's Maokai.
Oh, that's right, the Maokai. So yeah, that's pretty weird. I don't think Maokai. So I think Maokai's okay, but I think he's a
He's
lot
good,
worse
but
than
they
he
left.
was.
They banned the Zaya, and then
Yeah.
they left the Kaisa up. So that makes me if you're not gonna ban Kaisa, that makes sense, right? You're thinking NRG is gonna ban it, and then NRG doesn't ban Kaisa.
And you don't
So then
take it.
logically
You
you'd be
take
like, yeah, you just take
Maokai.
it. You just take
What?
Kaisa, it's up. But they don't. which guarantees that NRG can get Kai'Sa, and then they don't have the Xayah like pick to take into it. That
So
was like weird, but
maybe C9's like, okay, Zeri's the counter pick. We got this.
that's the vibe I was getting. That like both these teams seem to really like Zeri, and feel
Yeah,
like it can stand up to Kai'Sa, but I don't know if that's the case.
pretty weird. Then
This
we
is
get
weird. This one was a weird one. I was like, what is happening?
yeah,
Because then
it
like they
was
get
very strange.
Jax too. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, so we got Aatrox in the top lane. I I think this champion's okay. So it got a buff, but I think this champion's still really bad personally. I think it doesn't do enough damage. It's not tanky because it goes like Eclipse and stuff, and it doesn't really peel very well either, and it doesn't engage well either. So like I don't understand why you ever play this champion right now, especially in pro. I can understand maybe solo queue if you think you're gonna pop off or
Yeah,
something, but like I don't know, man.
I I think it's like maybe another buff or like another buff away from being
Yeah,
super viable.
at
And he needs
least.
like one more buff of some. I'm not sure what it would be, but it's not that it can't pop off, but
Yeah,
I think it's still very like it's either it could pop off, but it could also just be useless. Like
yeah,
there's no middle ground with him right now, at least at the pro level.
that is true. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I've seen like people play Aatrox and just like carry a game, but it's like it feels like it's a coin flip. So
Mhm.
I think there are better options.
Yeah, especially in like a crucial game, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It's not really
Yeah, it's
something you
risky.
should
It's a
just.
risky pick for sure. It's a
Yeah,
risky pick, and
it's
to
kind
pick
of
it here
strange.
is odd. Yeah.
And then he gets the Jax again, which I mean, it's tankier than Aatrox,
Hmm.
uh, and it just like it has more gap close. It has easier stun. Like I don't know, it's just overall better. Scales better too, personally. I believe. So kind of weird. Jax is pretty much better, I would say. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
agree for sure.
All right. So we got Maokai versus Sejuani. I mean, I guess Blabber was like undefeated on Maokai. Let's do it.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I mean, pretty confident. I think it's not the worst, but I think Sejuani has more damage and is quite a bit tankier. So it's not the best matchup, I don't think, for Maokai, but like it doesn't matter as much. Like there's a head to head, of course, as much as like the teamwork. So
Hmm.
it's fine, I think. What do you think about this?
That's good. The really good Maokai games, I think he likes to have Jace or Kai'Sa with him because he can create a lot of like a lot of space with his
Yeah,
ultimate, and the
definitely.
saplings are annoying. So
Yep, yep.
he makes like a really good front line and buys a lot of time for the poke to just have a lot of impact before a fight.
Yeah,
Um, so I mean, he like you said, he's fine here. He's like totally a fine pick, but I don't think he's without the other like without those poke champions. I don't think he's in like OP status like
yeah.
sometimes
All I'm saying is,
he
where's the
seems.
Viego? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Hey, look, they got the Ari. That's
Kindred's
what I'm saying.
unbanned.
If you have Ari, just saying.
Yeah, I mean you do need a tank here if you're going Aatrox, so I can
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that is kind of like you could see how Viego could work, especially with the Ari, but then you need a different top laner. So
100%. I mean, there's
yeah,
still a
yeah, the
lot of
Aatrox.
picks they could pick though. There's
Yeah,
good
true,
junglers right
true,
now.
true, true. True.
So where's Vi, by the way? What happened to Vi?
I don't know. They still pick Vi a lot in
Oh,
LCK.
do they? Okay, it's just an
She
LCS then.
did, yeah. LCS just doesn't like Vi. I think she got nerfed, but LCK
Did
was like,
she?
nah,
Okay,
she's still fine. So
I didn't notice it, but okay. Yeah, she's gone. Either way, I like the good cop bad cop we're doing here. I'm like negative on everything. You're positive. Love that.
yeah, yeah, it's working. It's working well. It's working out.
All right, so we got Ari versus Talia. I think actually, how do you say Talia? Talia?
I
Talia?
say, what do I say? Talia. I say Talia.
Talia. Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to get that out of the way. Um, but I think kind of reasons I said earlier. I think Ari's not super good right now. I think she's fine, but like there's better picks overall. They did ban quite a lot of the picks though, so maybe it's just he
They did.
doesn't not comfortable with a lot of stuff. Wow, is
Yeah, they
that like
banned Jace.
essentially if you count the Cassandra, that's 5 bans for MNS, by the way.
Yeah, look, Vi. Yeah, yeah. Honestly,
That is kind of
yes.
crazy actually. I didn't even notice that actually. But so yeah, Auri's not too bad I suppose considering, but I
What's left on the table? Yeah.
yeah. Um, Once again, it's not a lot of damage either. I think they tried to get Aatrox for the extra damage to see if it would work, but um, these are kind of like mid damage and like mid to high damage personally for me, and I would like at least like 2 higher damage if possible, and then like a
Agreed.
mid
Yeah,
damage or
for sure.
something. But we got Palafox on the Talia, Talia, Talia.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Talia. Um, and I think it's a good champion. It's of course more setup. I don't think it's as high damage, but it's like mid to high maybe, depending on what state you are in the game. But I think it's really good. Um, what do you think about this matchup at least, or either of the champs?
I think it is good. I think the it's nice into maybe a little bit of a counter pick into Ari because the stones that you put down, I think
True, if you can dash.
messed Ari up if she does the Spirit Rush throw.
Yep.
So that's probably a pretty nice interaction. I don't know if that's like the only reason he picked it, but um yeah,
Could
feels
be. I mean, there are a lot of dashers on this team. Got Zeri,
yeah.
Aatrox, Ari. Makes sense. Maybe
Yeah,
even
I'm just
Alistar
looking.
gets done. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if he QWs, it might still proc it. So yeah, I think it's a good, just another like good. We don't see a lot of
Yeah,
Tulia picked, but it's another good kind of like
it's a smart
off meta pick
pick.
from Palafox. Yeah,
Yeah,
smart pick.
definitely. Okay, and then we got the Kaisa Zeri we were talking about. Kaisa gets FPI this time, and Berserker tries out the Zeri as, I guess, a counter pick. And Zvin takes the Ignar Alistar this time. He's like,
Yeah,
you're not having this time. But Ignar gets the Rel, which is
Rel, which
I would rather have Rel overall, but I do think Alistar is pretty underrated as well. So it can work. I think it's more situation. I don't think it's like better than Nautilus or some of these better supports right now, but I think it's like okay. But I think it's probably denial, would you say? More than like he wanted it.
yeah, and maybe yeah, it might be. I'm just because you're right. Like Nautilus was still up, so Ignar would have had that option, and I like Nautilus into Zeri, but um, I
Or
do
into
know that
Kaisa.
Nautilus into yeah into Kaisa, yeah. So um, it's probably a denial pick, honestly, because Ignar is just so comfortable on Alistar
Yeah. How I
that
think they picked it somewhere earlier. No, third pick for them.
yeah, they took it
So yeah, they
away
definitely took it away. Yep.
quite early.
All right. Any final thoughts, or let's just get into
No,
the
my
final?
top tier analysis is the team with Kaisa wins, so I'm gonna say NRG. That's
That's a
my
good analysis, especially when there's no
yeah.
Zaya on the other side.
Put me on the analyst desk is all I'm saying. I've got it. I've got this meta figured out.
All right, so here's the post game, basically the
Well,
last few
well, well.
seconds. What happened here? What happened?
Well, you see what had happened was uh, FBI got 16 kills on Kaisa. Is what happened.
Jeez. Okay,
Uh,
but to be fair,
yeah,
Berserker got what, 11 more
5.
CS?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah, okay.
21?
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
math, I
true.
think.
He didn't do bad on the like Zeri isn't like a bad champion. I just don't think she's like a top tier pick right now. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. The the giving over of the Kaista was pretty weird in draft, and I think that's probably a big part of what happened. I do think a lot of it was set up as well, and I think the Jax was pretty disgusting. Plus, the Aatrox wasn't able to do pretty much anything to into it. Um,
yeah.
they dove Aatrox, I think, at least once, maybe twice this game as well under tower.
Hmm.
Obviously, you see they got the 4 Drakes, the Kim Tech, so it's not the best Drake, but it's still a soul. Um, But yeah, 30 kills, almost 30 kills to 10 kills, up 14k again. It's just the 14k, it's 13 or 14k gold leads at the end. That's
Yeah.
that's all that happens,
Games can't be, yeah, it's just there's smashes in either direction right now. So
pretty much.
I do like the build, a little build diversity there on FBI's part.
Yeah, I do as
He
well.
uh he didn't go Luden's. He went with the Rage Blade.
I was much
Still
happier
AP
to see.
focused, but yeah, the Rage Blade I think helps him with the Maokai, Alistar, even the Aatrox to an extent. So
Yeah, he
um,
melted the Aatrox. There was like one
yep.
fight that was down here. I might be able to back up a little bit, but there was a fight down at this
Oh, I know the
second
one.
tier
Yeah.
turret. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, C9 did defend like twice at their base, and they did
They
that in
did.
the second game as well, I believe. But let's see
They
if I can
did.
find this. Maybe I already skipped over it. I'm not sure. Maybe we're
He
thinking about
melts so
the.
fast. It's
But yeah, they melted him really quickly. I don't know where it was exactly, but either way, this game was kind of crazy. But yeah, the Rage Blade I was so happy to see because I'm not a big believer in the AP guys that you already heard, and
yeah,
I think it helps a lot. It still helps AP Kaisa either way.
it
It's
does.
just not as much immediate burst is the only thing. Just from the W at long range, that's the only difference. But you get a lot more attack speed. You have like a ton of penetration in both AD and AP. Um, and he gets the Zanyas as well, which is like I'm kind of just like thinking about just buying Zanyas like every game now, just on almost any ADC, because I feel like people use stopwatch so much anyway. It's not even worth selling it. Just build it into the final item.
Yeah,
Third or
I
fourth.
mean, the active is really good.
Yeah.
It's
And you don't have
really,
to
really
keep
good.
wasting money
So,
on it that way.
yep.
So I don't know. But yeah, big game from FBI here. Obviously, team set him up as well. So credit to them. But yeah, also a lot of Radiant Virtues built by the junglers this entire series.
Hmm. Hmm.
Kind of interesting to note. But yeah, any other thoughts, or should we move on?
Uh, my thought would be that they should not give NRG Kaisa in the next game.
Yeah.
That would be. But also my other thought was that um I didn't. So even though this puts energy at match point, um,
Hmm.
I didn't think I was not ready to count C9 out per se because I think even the analyst desk might have mentioned this, but it's like it's almost easier to mentally reset from like a stomp than it is from a close game.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
if it's like if you lose and it's like down to the wire and it's like you're gonna be like very disappointed and
Yeah.
kind of tilted. But if it's a stomp, just like I said, like don't give them Kaisa. It's like really easy to kind of regroup and be like, okay, like yeah, we messed up. We gave him Kaisa. Let's just not do that again. And then we like it could be completely different. So I feel like at least for me, it's easier for C9 to kind of reset after a stomp than a really close one. So
Yeah.
I wasn't like necessarily down and out on C9 at this point, but definitely worried that you know they might be seeing their championship streak come to an end at this point if they don't figure out their Kaisa problem here or their
Yeah.
draft problem.
See if they
Yeah.
can fix it before the take a second win and then make it just silver scrapes. But uh another thing is that the Maokai does get the loss, so not undefeated anymore on the Maokai here for Blabber. Uh, that storyline's ended. And then the other thing I wanted to notice is that like draft adaptations for C9, obviously like what are you drafting? Let's just have like a normal draft. But
Yeah.
besides that, I think you have to ban Jax, and you have to ban if you're not picking, you have to ban Kaisa.
Yeah.
Like you were
Agreed.
saying for sure. So I think you have to
Agreed.
ban those two. I don't think the Azir is as important, and I think Poppy was one of the other bans that they were doing or something like that. I don't think you need to ban that much. Um,
Yeah.
or
Based on how the
Zeri.
series is going, I agree. You have to pick or ban Kaisa, and then I think just honestly it starts to get really tricky because yeah, you do probably have to ban the Jax, but you remember the game before this. Now you kind of have to ban the Chase as well
Yep,
from Palafox. So the bans are starting to rack up. So
it is. Yeah,
yeah, it does start to get tricky, but we'll see what they do in the next one.
I still think you can defeat Jace. Though. I don't think it's a
Hmm.
necessary ban. I think it's maybe if you don't have anything else, but I think he's still somewhat squishy if you can just pile on him a little bit.
Yeah.
um, but so we got what is this the second or third loss that Zeri gets in this series? I think it's a second.
Second
Yeah,
loss.
so I think
She lost game one and then this game.
I think we don't need a ban Zeri anymore, right? Theoretically.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
Okay,
theoretically.
okay. Let's move on to the next game, see what happens. So Zaya and Kaisa are banned. What?
Interesting.
Who do they first pick, by the way? It's just
Interesting.
fun. So okay, so the plan is right. You're banning one and then picking the other, right? Is
Yeah.
that's how it works, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we're
What
first
I
picking Sejuani. Okay. And Poppy's still banned the entire series. What? Okay, this champ's
I
not that good, right?
I'm
Okay.
I know I'm the positive one, but I do have to just point out if we're just using the own logic from these teams in this series, I'm not saying I agree with it, but they're saying that Kaisa, Zaya, and Zeri are the best ADCs, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's logically what these teams are saying, even if we don't agree with it. So then they ban Zaya and Kaisa.
And they
So
but they don't
logically,
pick Zeri.
you gotta pick the Zeri, right? Right? That's what that means.
I think so. That's still like one plus one is two. That makes sense.
Didn't do it though.
Also, the Maokai ban. I guess they didn't like it in that game, so that's interesting.
It is annoying. It is just an annoying champion to play into. So
Yeah, I didn't think it was that big of a problem though for them, but I suppose it was maybe the ultimates were annoying. I guess
yeah, I think even if you beat it, you're like, ah, we could maybe we could probably win easier without it in the
that's
game.
interesting. Yeah. And then obviously they take the Zeri and they get the Rel as well, which is pretty good and very flexible, so pretty big for
Yep.
them.
Yep. Good pick this early because you
And
can,
then
like you said, jungle or support.
yeah, then we pick Rumble. You
Okay.
know our thoughts on this already. We've talked a lot about Rumble. It's
Yep. I
okay. Drew thinks it's really good. Just kidding.
it's it's good. It's good. I like it, but I like Jax better.
Yeah,
And he's up
yeah,
right now.
everything's up.
So
Jax, Cassante, what are the top lane? Renekton's still up as well.
yeah,
Um,
Casante's up. Yeah. What?
Fiora? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, anyways, we get Yone. Quite interesting. So what were we saying 2 games ago? Or no, beginning of the last game, we need to start getting a second game lead, so we don't have to worry about the game after.
Yeah.
Let's do less variance picks, and
Yep.
not take the 50-50. So we're picking Yone in
Yeah.
the game that
That's
could be the last game if they
yeah.
lose.
That's a little sus.
Huh. Okay. All right, and we got Jax coming out as the response. Obviously, he's unbanned, so like kind of a no-brainer. Doko's been performing very well on it so far,
Hmm.
especially in the previous game. So you should already have the recency bias to be like, man, this Jax is pretty good. Should probably ban it over Poppy. That's doesn't do 3 gazillion damage just as a baseline of the kit. I don't know. That's just me though. Uh, you got any thoughts on Jax? Or,
It's real good.
yeah,
He might be the best top laner right now. He's
yeah,
definitely one of them. So
yeah. Seems like.
the fact that he just gets that for free is pretty nuts.
I like these signs by the way. Senna or bust. Hashtag do it for flowers.
Pick
Pick Skarner.
Skarner Lee cowards.
Oh yeah, I didn't see the top part. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, but anyways, so we got the bans are so they finally banned the Nautilus, even though I don't think it's ban worthy, and the Rakan, which is definitely not ban worthy. But they just didn't want the engage, I guess.
I do. Yeah. Nautilus. They just didn't want the
I
engage.
guess the
It
Zeri
would have
maybe.
been. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I think because they picked this area so early, they were like, let's just get rid of the Nautilus ultimate, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I think they won with Nautilus the first game, C9, right? I'm pretty sure. So that's
Yeah, I
probably
think so. Yeah.
like what was that? Because they did pick Zeri that game as well.
Yep.
NRG did. So yeah, we got the Ivern and the Azir. At least they waited till second round for Azir this time. I mean that's fine. I'm cool with that as well. If he's first picking in the first three, that seems like not the best situation. Plus you could counter it, but yeah. So I think it's fine. I don't think you need to bet at the first three, and they've been doing that like every game so far. I think so. Got a good adaptation this time from C9. Although could have done it a little bit sooner, guys. Ivern, I don't know if it's really ban worthy, but I can understand banning it. Since it's 4-5, I don't mind too much. But if it was first three, I think it's maybe a waste of a ban, especially considering C9 has a lot of stuff to ban at this point, right? Um,
Yeah.
so they pick up Draven. They're like, all right, it's time. The glorious execution. They get the Draven and the Renata, which is actually the first time we've seen Renata in a little while, I think. But Zven did have pretty good performance on it, I think in spring at least, um, if I'm remembering correctly. But you have any thoughts
He
on Draven to Renata?
did. Um,
Or what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
well, first I was saying Renata's falling a little bit out of the meta.
Yeah,
She's not bad, but she's definitely. I'm trying to think what else he could have picked here. Alistar's gone. So, I mean, they definitely, without Nautilus in the pool, he played Alistar earlier. He doesn't have the option to go Rel. So, a lot of the engage champions that they've been prioritizing are not there. So, I
yeah.
guess he was kind of like pushed further down the champion pool.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't know. Renata can work with Draven because Draven does a lot of damage with his autos. So it's one of those champions that can really make what's the word? Like really good use out of the Renata never die ability.
Yeah, definitely. And we
Um
saw it in one of their previous games. I think it was in spring actually.
yeah.
Remember he like revived and got like a
Yep.
triple kill or something like
Yep.
that.
So it is like that kind of interaction is pretty good with the
Yep.
Draven. I just think the Draven's kind of an odd
It is odd, especially this could be their final game, right? If they
to
lose, so it's
me
kind of a variance
to,
pick.
to me that says like Berserker. I don't want to say like 100% doesn't trust the rest of his team right now, but like it kind of makes me think like that like a Draven pick to me just says let me 1v9 this game.
That's fair. I didn't think about that. That's a good point, actually.
Like let me like stomp the lane, like kill FBI 100 times in lane, and then I'll run the game over like before it goes too long. So that might be the thought process. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
it is like super risky, right? Because if you don't stomp the lane, what are you gonna do as a Draven at that point?
Yeah, kinda. Like, yes, Berserker's one of the best scaling ADCs, so he usually does end up mattering. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, Draven's a bit more early to mid game. Is where you want to get ahead, and then you can kind of just one shot people almost late game.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Exactly. You get super strong early, so then late you're just like, yeah, you're just executing people. Yep.
Yeah. But I pulled this up. So we got Draven is apparently, I guess, a counter pick in 2,200 matches on U.GG.
Okay.
And Ashe has double the matches, and it's only like 1%, not even, like 8.6% uh, better. Or like worse, I mean, than Draven is. So I think Ashe would be pretty good here, personally. But
Yeah.
they don't pick it, so it is what it is. I think it was a bit of a variance pick, the Draven, and I don't think it's one of their best choices here, but they ended up going that. So they got that Renata, and then they NRG side gets the Nautilus, of course, and then they pick they already have this there. They pick the Nico as their, I believe,
Yeah.
their final pick.
Yes. The Nico. Nico. Nico's a good pick.
Nico's a good pick. I do want to say I don't think Palafox played it the best, but
He did not.
he
He
did
did
get a little
not.
bit behind, so I don't want to blame him too hard.
Yes.
And he did fine with it. He had some good flanks and some TP plays that were really good as well. So
Yes, Nico, I've seen some Nicos in other leagues just be like insane, but it is all about finding those kind of like we were saying with Annie. It's all about finding those like really creative flanks and
yeah,
hitting those multi-man like alts and that if you have a Nico that can do that, you can like run the whole game. But
yeah, for sure.
yeah, he didn't look as good on this pick as he had on some of the others, but I think he still was able to do his job well enough.
Yeah, and I think it's just me being biased because I saw the TL APA whatever, the
Yeah,
Nico. It's pretty good, pretty good.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but either way, it was good. Any thoughts about this draft before we move on? I think
I
Energy has a
just
better one personally.
don't. Energy has a better one for sure. I'm just so confused by. I mean, parts of the draft do make sense for C9, but
But not as your possible getting knocked out
yeah, it's
game.
just really this to me would be like one you
Game
do
one.
early or yeah, game
Yeah.
one or maybe you're up a couple games
Yes, exactly.
just to throw a different look at energy, but it's I'm just really confused still like I said about the AD carry
Yeah.
like what happened there. It
With the
just seems weird to
bands.
me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I could say,
Me too.
the only thing I could say, maybe they tried to big brain this too much. So maybe they're like, if we banned Zaya and Kaisa, and don't pick Zeri, we know 100% FBI will pick Zeri.
Yeah.
And we think that Draven is an unbeatable counter pick into Zeri.
That's
That
probably what happened, yeah.
if that's what they think, then that's the only way that this draft makes sense. But I don't, I don't agree with it. Is the problem? I don't think that's like actually how it would work. But
Yeah.
that's the only way I can make sense of the draft because otherwise it just looks like they kind of like into the draft.
hmm I was gonna say I just want to track Blabber real fast because I think he has to get this bot lane ahead, so he needs to stay out down here the whole time, the whole game pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, he
And it looks
has
like
to
he did
with the
stay
Draven. You
most of
have
it.
to.
Clears
Yeah,
his top side, and then he goes back top a little bit. Goes back bottom. No one's taken the first dragon yet. Yeah, I don't know. It's everything's pretty even overall, and then NRG. Is this the Nico play? I think it's the Nico play, right? The teleport.
yes, I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
FBI gets a double kill. Yep.
Yep, yep. So the teleport play that puts the C9 bottom lane really far behind, and then the
Hmm.
energy gets tempo with the dragon. So it snowballs quite a bit from there. The big cast there. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. It looks like Sejuani just didn't have good enough plays. It could be because the energy bot lane was onto the tower a lot of the time. Might have been why he didn't have good gank angles and stuff. But also, do want to say one thing about this play right here. If you remember this, um, he
Yes,
yeah, you
yes,
remember
I do
now?
remember
Okay,
this one. Yep.
yeah. So M&S gets a nice ult onto this. Is a really good play. What I don't understand here is that Fudge can continue walking and he'll get out and live, right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. He's almost under tower range already. It's like a couple more steps. They aren't really close enough to get a good thing, and Zeri has no ult or anything like that. They have no like big cooldowns that they can use. Maybe Rel will give him enough time, but if you walk to the right, you're dead 100% either way, right?
Definitely.
So oh, that was the replay, I think. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. Here it is. Okay, yeah. So Fudge decides to walk right. What? Also another
I
thing
don't know.
is M&S knocks all three of them up with a third Q, so he buys even more time for Fudge. So I don't understand why Fudge runs right here. I mean, maybe just heat of the moment, hard to say. Maybe just a misplay of whatever, but I feel like that was not great. They could have lost a lot less, got two for zero. It would have been really nice.
Yeah, I was really like the game wasn't over at this point, but I was very heavily on NRG winning the series at this point because
Yeah, me
just
too.
like looking where the gold was, the gold was in FBI's pocket on the Zeri, who's going to be eventually relevant late game because eventually Zeri is really strong super late.
Hmm.
Um, and all of the gold was on M&S on the Yone, and
Yeah,
that's not like that's good, but it like a Fed Yone is not going to equal a Fed Zeri late.
yeah,
So I was just where the kills were at this point. I was even though the gold lead was for Cloud9, I was thinking it was not on the right. Like
yeah.
you really
It's
would
not
want to
much
buy
of a
gold
gold lead.
on Berserker. Yeah, and it's not much, but yeah.
And yeah, Zeri does have 3 kills at this point, which is pretty big. And then the Rel is also has a couple of kills, which is pretty nice. Shoots her pretty far ahead of the Sejuani, which
Yep.
already doesn't have the best time of getting ahead, being somewhat of a slower tanky champion. But yeah, also another thing is I'm pretty sure, not in that one particularly, but most of the series, NRG had very good dragon control, had almost everyone in their team at the dragon when they needed to do it, and they were always shoving C9 away. C9 probably just taking the safe play. I can understand it, and I'd prefer that than like having a bunch of deaths maybe. But
Yeah.
it is interesting to note that NRG were kind of just pushing C9 out of the dragons like the entire series. Um, but yeah, either way, I think this is the next one. Yeah, so this is the final screen. Let's go ahead and get on to it. NRG takes the series. They win their first championship. Woo! Crazy. Uh, it's really awesome. I think the NRG guys do really deserve it. Um, and they've finally got what they had been so close to getting before. I think personally, um, they defeated C9, which is a big thing, and then of course they finally got their championship, which is really awesome. And I think it makes sense because they only got an upgrade to their roster, so they should have just been better than they were before, which makes sense. But what I'm so confused about is how did they drop 3-0 to C9 before, if that was the case?
Not
Um,
sure, honestly. They feel like a very like a like very momentum based
yeah, that's
team.
fair.
Like if they can get one win like they did in that second game of the series, then they can really kind of like ride that all the way through.
Okay, but Devil's
Um,
Advocate, um, they won their match in the first series they did, and then got 3-0'd. And then
true.
one other Devil's Advocate is the TL series. It was win loss win loss win.
Yeah, that's true. Energy is just a confusing team. I don't know what to say
No,
about them.
I actually agree with your point. I do think they are very momentum based, but I just wanted to deploy Devil's
Yeah.
Advocate for a second.
No, I mean that's a good point though. You raise a good counterpoint. But hopefully, as someone who wants to see C9 do well internationally, hopefully, um, it's like a wake up call in a sense.
Yes. Yeah, me too. I think they probably got a little too comfortable. They
Yes.
definitely been playing not as good this entire season. Um,
Yes.
well, at least this second split rather, mostly. But
Yeah. No. Yeah. The
like
second split for
the
sure.
MSI wasn't great either. So
Yeah. So hopefully, yeah. I don't know. Hopefully, it kind of puts some puts a kind of fire under them. Maybe back to the drawing board. They have a. It's quite a while till World starts up, so
yeah, they have a lot of time.
they're gonna have a lot of time to boot camp
Hopefully
and
they
figure
don't
stuff
take a
out.
big break. That's what I'm worried about because this happens every time to CNI, and they do like a lot of times it's like MSI to even this year it wasn't the best,
Yeah,
although it was better than previous years. They dropped the ball a lot from what the play that they were doing, and they should have only gotten
yeah.
better. I
Well,
understand like
that's what I'm.
burnout or like playing a long time in a row, but
Yeah, well, that's
um,
what I'm hoping. Oh, like I feel like if they had won this championship easy, they may have just like taken a big break.
that's true. Yeah,
I'm hoping since they
complacency.
lost, yeah, they're gonna be like motivated or like really like hungry to prove themselves. So they might really step it up a notch and get ready for Worlds because they're gonna be playing some people quite a bit better than NRG in the near
Yeah.
future. So um, yeah,
Also,
it'll be
just a quick thing. Trinity Force Draven, interesting. I can see it because the Spellblade, but that's interesting. I don't think it's his best option. Uh,
I don't know.
also,
Anything he was building was gonna make a difference this
that's
one.
true. Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah. So Energy ends up 3-1 in Cloud9 in the finals. It's the final score. Um, what else? What else? I do want to say that I think going into Worlds as a second seed is probably Shine's better shot at making it further, actually as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Also, I hope GG win because I think going through the plans and stuff would be pretty nice for them as well.
yeah.
As long as they aren't out of form.
We should do a we should do another video with once we figure out or maybe recapping
Yes.
the NA versus EU match.
Yep, yep, yep. So
Um,
these are happening the next week, or this weekend rather, I suppose.
yes,
And then I think that's draw show. I think at the end of
I
this,
think
I'm not
so.
sure. I'm not sure if do you know if LCK is done? I'm pretty sure. And then
Every other league is done. Yeah,
okay, yeah,
LCK finished this weekend. LCS is done.
yes, the
LPL
last ones.
is done. Yeah, so it's just Europe now.
Okay, nice. Spoilers, sorry if you haven't seen these, but yeah. Uh, so yeah, just after this, I think probably like next week, just depending on what days I'm off, we can get a recording in on the draw show, some reactions and stuff, and get our predictions as
Yeah,
well. So that'll be really fun. But
yeah. I'll avoid the draw results until we'll do it live on the.
yeah, 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 me too, me too, me
That'll
too.
be good.
That'd be awesome. Um, but yeah, either way, thank you all for watching. Thank you for sticking around. Hear our rambling and gold, plat, whatever ideology, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a bit sad for C9 that they aren't able to do the 3P and all that stuff. That would have been pretty cool, but honestly, it's probably the right thing that should have happened because C9 weren't playing to their best, and NRG kind of deserved this. They've been ramping up the whole time, and uh, I mean, Stokel's first win, FBI's like second, I think, in a while. Um, I think it's Ignar's first win, is it? Or is it?
It is. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's pretty awesome for him. I think he said he may even retire pretty soon, which is it's good he was able to get a win before that. I hope he doesn't retire
Yeah.
super soon, but
He's
we'll see.
been he's been playing for a while, but yeah,
Yeah, and then I think it's Palafox's first. Yeah, it's definitely Palafox's first win as well. Contract's like second, I think maybe, or first. So pretty cool for them. Um, I really don't. I really hope that C9 doesn't change their roster after whatever happens at Worlds. Uh, I just want to say that real fast because I think a lot of these teams like decide to change their roster a little bit, and blowing up the roster would be a very big mistake. But if they were to make a roster change, which I don't think they should, I think maybe get Imnes out personally. But the only thing is, like, I don't know who you would get that's better.
yeah, that would be the one position
Please
I
don't go
could
back to
see.
Jensen. I'm sorry. I
No,
don't
I
I like you,
think
Jensen, but
I don't know who they put there, but I think that would be the one spot I could see them changing that
yeah,
would
I
make
really think
sense.
they should not get Sven out of there, but I think it's maybe a possibility. So we'll see what happens. I don't want anything to happen, but yeah. Either way, any final words before we end the video?
No, kudos to NRG,
Yeah,
uh, our first seed for North America, and yeah, I'll
that's
excited
crazy.
for the draw show, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we'll catch you guys hopefully next week sometime when this things. Do you want to do a quick like fast prediction? Doesn't matter like the score of what's gonna happen here.
In which one?
Europe BDS and SK, and then I
Um,
guess the finals probably, but which I think is this. This is third, fourth, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say,
What's Fnatic's roster, by the way?
yeah, they're like humanoid, and
Oh, he's still playing? Nice.
he's still playing.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna say BDS wins and Fnatic wins. That's my
Okay,
prediction.
nice, nice. Screen Resort, Humanoid and Noah. Oh, okay, I've heard a little bit about Noah, I guess.
Yeah,
Is there
Noah's pretty
support?
good. Noah's pretty
I
good.
think
He's
there's
their
another guy
ADC.
that's Noe, isn't there? Like this spelling? That's also in a professional.
Maybe. Yeah, that also sounds familiar,
I
but
don't
I don't
know.
know what team he plays for.
Yeah, me neither. Either way, yeah, I have no idea about this, so I'm just going to defer to you. I think Fennec's probably going to be XL, but I don't know it. Oops, I don't know who's on this team to be honest. I don't follow. I used to follow was called the ULCS back in the day, and then a couple years before they rebranded, I just didn't at the time. But yeah, either way, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you in the next time. Peace.